Your Chiweenie will cuddle like a stuffed animal, and then 5 minutes later, act like a miniature hunting dog with opinions. If you're thinking, wait, aren't they supposed to be easy? That's the trap. Because this mix comes with surprises people don't mention until you're already attached. The blanket tunneling, the indoor digging, even a prey drive that makes owners say, my other Chihuahuas never did this. So before you bring one home, here are 9 things no one tells you about owning a Chiweenie. Number 1. They dig everywhere, even if there's no dirt. You'll hear the scratch, scratch, scratch before you even look over, and somehow it's happening on carpet, the bed, the couch corner, or your clean laundry pile. Chiweenies do these little digging sessions like they're prepping a landing zone, even when there's zero dirt involved. And it's consistent enough that owners end up asking for digging toys or ways to redirect it. On a Reddit thread, one owner summed it up perfectly saying, "Ours does this all the time too. She makes a nest if there's a blanket there. Otherwise, she scuffs around for a few minutes before laying down." This usually comes from nesting and den-making instincts. For instance, the Dachshund side brings that natural drive to dig and shape a space. Plus, the Chihuahua side often wants comfort, warmth, and a spot that feels protected. Sometimes they're also trying to push scent into the fabric, or they're wound up and using digging as a release. At the end of the day, if you don't give them an improved place to do it, they'll pick the most expensive one. Number 2. The hunting switch nobody warns you about. The first time it happens, you may genuinely freeze because it feels impossible coming from a dog that small. Then you realize your Chiweenie isn't playing. A lot of first-time owners expect tiny lapdog energy and get a surprise prey drive instead. One Chiweenie owner told us, "She's killed a cardinal, a squirrel baby, and 3 chipmunks. She's so fast, they don't have time to get away. I have 3 Chihuahuas also, and they don't chase or harm anything. So I wasn't ready for this." That shock makes sense. Dachshunds were bred to go after animals in tight spaces, and many carry a strong chase and catch instinct. Mix that with Chihuahua confidence, and you can get a dog that locks onto movement like it's a job. If you have cats, rabbits, or backyard wildlife, assume the switch exists and manage it early with a leash, a secure yard, and a solid leave it. Because once they've practiced it a few times, they get really good at it. Number 3. You'll become the anti-jump police. You can buy the cutest little stairs or ramp. You can place them in the most convenient and perfect spot. Your Chiweenie will still look at the edge of the couch and consider it a normal exit. Owners who already know the Dachshund back risk thing still say the urge to launch doesn't magically go away. The problem is, it often happens fast and without warning, especially when they hear a noise, see a person, or get excited. One Chiweenie owner admitted, "I've got a ramp for my couch and my bed, but my Chiweenie doesn't always use it, like 40 to 60 at this point. I guess it depends on how he's feeling." That's the mix in a nutshell. Dachshund genes bring bold movement and I-can-do-it confidence around furniture. Chihuahua genes add intensity and quick reactions. So even if they can use the ramp, their brain picks the fastest route in the moment. If you want fewer heart-stopping jumps, you're managing impulses, not teaching geometry. Number 4. Dental care becomes a whole project. A lot of Chiweenie owners don't clock it until the dog starts doing that weird chew on one side thing, or the breath gets so strong you notice it from across the room. Then it turns into vet appointments, anesthesia questions, and realizing dental cleaning can come with major extractions. In fact, one owner shared his biggest mistake. "My guy is 10 years old and has never had a dental clean. His breath was getting pretty bad. Turns out he needed 17 teeth removed. Please don't make the same mistake." Unfortunately, this isn't rare story territory with small mixes. Crowded teeth, smaller jaws, and plaque buildup can snowball fast, and brushing is a fight in a dog that hates having their mouth handled. That said, start training for mouth touches. Find a brush they'll tolerate and do regular vet checks. After all, it's easier to prevent than to play catch-up once gum disease has already started. Number 5. the forever cold Chiweenie problem. You'll step outside, feel totally fine, and your Chiweenie will hit you with a shiver like they just got teleported into winter. This is one of those traits that shows up again and again in Chiweenie circles. They'll refuse to go out, beeline for sunspots, live under blankets, and act personally offended by a chilly floor. In fact, one Chiweenie owner put a number to it, saying, "My dog is in a sweater from about October to May. Basically, anything less than 65 degrees in Fahrenheit and she starts shivering. It's obvious these dogs aren't suited for a lot of climates." Oh, and it's not just drama. Many Chiweenies are lean, close to the ground, and not built with much insulation. They also learn fast that warmth equals comfort, so they start managing their own temperature like it's a daily mission. So if you plan ahead with sweaters, warm bedding, and quick potty trips when it's cold, everyone's life gets easier. Number 6. The barking is alert plus suspicious. Some Chiweenies don't bark because they're bored. They bark because they've decided something is worth reporting, and their default setting is assume it's important. That's why it can sound sharp, urgent, and non-stop, especially with movement outside, hallway noise, or anyone approaching your space. In a Chiweenie forum, one owner asked, "What do you guys do about your Chiweenie barking at everything that moves? He constantly barks and growls at other dogs." This mix often pairs watchdog intensity with quick trigger nerves. The Chihuahua side is famously alert and protective. On the other hand, the Dachshund side can be bold and reactive once they lock onto a target. If they rehearse it on walks, it can turn into dog reactivity fast. The fastest win is changing what barking gets them. Block the window view if that's the trigger. On walks, turn and leave before they explode. Then reward when they can look and stay quiet. Over time, they'll learn the job is checking in with you, not managing the neighborhood. Number 7. Resource guarding can show up fast. You go to move the blanket, pick up a chew, or nudge them off their spot, and you get a low growl you weren't expecting from a dog that cuddles nonstop. Chiweenie owners talk about this with food, treats, and cozy hiding places, especially when the dog is burrowed and feels cornered. One owner wrote, "My precious Chiweenie loves burrowing in the bed and snoozing. The issue is any movement on the bed or near the bed gets a ton of growling and aggression." That pattern is classic resource guarding. The resource can be food, a bone, a bed, or even a warm blanket cave. It often comes from insecurity, past scarcity, or learning that growling makes people back off. The fix starts with management. Don't punish the growl. Stop reaching into the guarded zone. Instead, use trades, feed separately if needed, and get a trainer involved early if it escalates. If left alone, this is one of those problems that usually grows, not fades. Number 8. IVDD risk is not theoretical. With Chiweenies, back safety stops being a vague warning and turns into daily decision-making. How high is the bed? Can they reach the couch? Did they just jump off without thinking? The reason owners get intense about it is they've seen the consequences and they connected flare-ups to those little launches off furniture. In fact, one owner warned, "Be very careful with your dog jumping off things. My grandparents just had to put down their Dachshund because she broke her back jumping off a couch." A lot of Chiweenies inherit that longer back structure than the Dachshund side, and it does not take a huge fall to create a bad landing. So you end up redesigning your house a little. Ramps become normal, lifting becomes normal, blocking access becomes normal. It sounds dramatic until it saves you from an emergency vet visit. Number 9. The blanket burrowing habit. Blankets are not decor in a Chiweenie house. They're a destination. Your dog will paw, nose, and wiggle until they're fully tucked under a throw, a cushion, or your legs, then fall asleep like that's the only correct way to exist. And owners don't describe it as a winter thing. They describe it as constant. In fact, one owner wrote, "Regardless of the season, I have to have a blanket on my lap for him to get under to sleep." That intensity makes sense for this mix. The Dotson side comes from a breed built for tight underground spaces, so digging and squeezing into covered spots is deeply wired. On the other side, the Chihuahua side often leans hard into warmth and security, and many prefer being pressed against something familiar. So when you smooth the blanket and they immediately re-burrow, it's not a quirky phase. It's their comfort system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Hey, if you enjoyed this, you'll love this video here. And if you hit subscribe, I'll donate a meal to a rescue dog on your behalf.